1, 2, 3.
Working on a ship, may never sail on. Ship's gonna sail someday. Working on a ship, may never sail on. Gonna build it anyway.
You know, after getting back together again with my father and him, hanging out with him and talking about his elders and the people that went before him, and he's always worried about us forgetting the lessons of the past, not carrying those lessons forward. And so after he passed away, and I was thinking about a way to carry my father's work forward, and was fortunate enough to get hooked up with Kate McLeod and some of the other people, and they wanted to do a tribute CD.
Duncan envisioned this as a recording that would represent his father's music in a very authentic and simple way with regional musicians, and he didn't want it to have a real huge commercial approach because his father was never really very commercial in his approach.
It's not a look back so much as the history of him as it's a carrying forward of his history. It's a celebration of his music, his work, and community.
The project's been great. It's not only is it going to be a great tribute, but it's brought together a number of people that have played his songs, had worked with him. A bunch of them had taken guitar lessons from him while he was alive, and so we're bringing together friends of his and people that are into it for the right reasons.
And we really didn't have a title for the CD or any real vision of it at the very beginning, but I thought I'd always remember back to the long memory. And I thought how fitting a project title for our CD would be to carry my father's work forward.
The one thing that's been interesting is on every song, with the exception of the a cappella tune, we've used Utah Phillips guitar, and every person has played that guitar, but every single person plays a little different and has a different style. And so the same guitar that was played by Bruce, since the 60s, sounds dramatically different for each player, and yet it still has the common thread to bring it all together.
I'm very familiar with Utah Phillips music, and I've seen him perform many times, and I'd always wanted to get to know him better. And I felt a small regret when he died because I had missed that opportunity. And then Duncan invited me to produce the album, and I thought, wow, that is a real turnaround because I get to know him in a completely different way that I didn't expect.
Kate left it up to me to come up with a song list, and she left it up to me to pick the songs for each performer. And a lot of them, the performers had to learn that song, they didn't know them. So it I felt it brought a freshness to the studio. And so to have them performing a fresh song in the studio with my father's guitar, it's really worked out very well.
We just recorded Ship's Gonna Sail. It was the group song. We had as many of the musicians as we could get into the studio, and it was just such an experience to hear everyone singing together that for right this minute, that's my favorite song.
Phil Berrigan said no more atom bombs. Ship's gonna sail someday. Utah Phillips said sing through the hard times. Ship's gonna sail someday.
My father being a folk singer again, just in a simple, kind of stripped down way of folk singer and folk music and storytelling. Foremost, everything else is aside from that. It's him coming back home to Utah. It's people in Utah sharing his music, and it's a community effort, and I think that's what he would appreciate the most. He'd just laugh. He's got that way of laughing when something's good. When something's not so good and needs work, you may critique or to talk about it. But this is one of those things where he'd just smile. He'd just sit back, smile like, yeah, you got it.
Ship's gonna sail someday. Working on a ship, may never sail on. Gonna build it anyway.